earlier lessons we did area, and when we did area we did rectangles, triangles, parallelograms, trapezoids, and circles. And then we moved on to pi is a ratio of circumference to diameter. And then we found the circumference, which is going around the circle. And I mentioned in circumference that that was a snotty name for perimeter of a circle. Well, when we did area, we did 5 shapes. Now we're going to devote the entire time, one more time, to the shape of a circle, finding the area of the circle. So on your star chart, make sure that you know where to find the area or memorize it. And the area of a circle, A equals pi r squared. Now, pi, you're going to leave as 3.14 till the very end. And r is the radius, and then you're going to have to square it. Sometimes you will be given a radius. And sometimes you will be given a diameter. And remember that 2 radiuses equals 1 diameter. So if you're given a diameter, you're going to have to divide it by 2 before you square it. So here, we're going to determine the area, use 3.14, that's standard. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth. And remember, that's 1 digit after the decimal place. So make sure you're doing your rounding correctly. So this is area equals pi r squared. Make sure you write your formula. Equals pi, my radius is 1 squared. 1 pi, we're going to square 1. Then we're going to bring it out in front of the pi because that's the standard of way to do it. Then we're going to multiply 1 times 3.14 and get 3.14, but it says to the 10th, so it's 3.1. It's area, so it's units squared. Number 2, this is a diameter. So if diameter equals 4, radius equals 2. I have area equals pi r squared. Pi, my radius is 2 squared. And this is just a interesting property of 2, that it goes right back to 4. That's 4 pi. And you are using a calculator doing this. So you're doing 3.14 times 4, and you're getting 12.56, round to the nearest tenth, 12.6 yards, and because it's area, it's squared. This is a diameter. Diameter equals 70, r equals 35, pi area equals pi r squared, pi 35 squared. 35 times 35, ooh, that's going to be a big one. 1, 2, 2, 5. These are not drawn to scale. Pi, and then you're multiplying that by 3.14, and you get 3,846.5. That is to tenths meters squared. So, the reason we leave it as pi is because some problems, they will leave it right there. And they'll, especially on multiple choice. Is it this? Is it 4 pi, 3 pi, 2 pi? You know, that's the way. So you're going to have to recognize it. Diameter, because it goes from side to side, passing side to side of a circle, passing through the center. Diameter equals 14, radius equals 7. Area equals pi r squared equals pi 7 squared equals 49 pi. Multiplying 49 times 3.14 and get 153.86 to the 10th, 153.9 inches squared. Square units is always area. Diameter equals 4.3, radius equals 2.15, area equals pi r squared equals pi 2.15 squared equals 4.6225 pi equals 14.51465, following directions, 14.5 feet squared. Because remember, it says round it to the nearest tenth. Diameter equals 8, radius equals 4, area equals pi r squared equals pi 4 squared equals 16 pi. 16 times pi is 50.24. Rounded to the nearest tenth is 50.2. Units would be centimeters squared. You don't have to have the picture because we all know radiuses go with circles, and we have a radius, so area equals pi r squared equals pi 5.7 squared equals 32.49 pi equals 110.466 equals 110.5 millimeters squared. I'm going to not do 8 right now, just so I can do 9 right here. D equals 3, R equals 1.5, area equals pi r squared equals pi 1.5 squared equals pi 2.25 pi equals 7.065, which is 7.1 inches squared. That one goes to that one. Radius is 8.2, so area equals pi r squared. Notice I'm writing the formula every time. I'm showing you my substitution. I'm squaring the number. I'm leaving it as 67. I'm leaving it as a constant times pi. Then I'm multiplying by pi. I'm writing down the answer, and then I'm following the directions of rounding it to the tenth, and then I'm putting my units squared. When I have a diameter, I take the diameter and I divide it by 2. So diameter, radius equals 7.8. Come over here. Pi r squared, pi 7.8 squared. Come over here and I square 7.8, 60.84 pi. I multiply it by 3.14. I get 191.0376. I round it to the nearest tenth because my directions say so. 191.0 centimeters squared. And yes, I wanted the 0, so I know that it is not a perfect 191. You saw the video, and this is a half circle. So if you want to just cover half of the circle, find the circle, and at the very end divide by 2. And you're going to divide by 2 before you round. So, here we go. Pi r squared, pi 4.7 squared. 22.09 pi. Then you're going to multiply that by 3.14. That's 69.3626 circle. And then you're going to divide it by 2. And write semi. 34.6813, and then that's 34.7 semicircle yards squared. That way we will round until the end. Pi r squared, pi 22.5 squared is 506.25 pi, which is 1589.625 circle divided by 2 for a half circle. 794.8125 is semi. 794.8 is semicircle, and it is inches squared. Now, notice I'm annotating when it's a circle and when it's a semicircle. So the next one, it's not a half circle or a semicircle, it's a quarter circle. So at the very end, instead of dividing by 2, we're going to divide by 4 because there's 4 pieces that would fit into it. So pi r squared, pi 3 squared, 9 pi, is 28.26 for circle. Then 28.26 divided by 4 equals quarter. And that is 7.065 for quarter, which is 7.1. Put this as inches squared. So my suggestion is you take care of the pi. You leave that as the pi, that's the circle. And then you change it into a semicircle. And then from the semicircle, you round and have your final answer. That is the lesson on finding area of circles, semicircles, and quarter circles.